Simone Edwards show here on this station. Thank you so much for joining us this Sunday. It is this Saturday. I'm just off because I'm just off today. Okay. We have in studio Mrs. Angela Ford, dynamic singer, just all around great person. And we're actually going to be talking about, I reached out to her last year, and so we're going to be talking about surviving infant loss. And you did a concert recently.
Yes.
So before we jump off into the deep end and talk about the concert and talk about the work that you do surrounding that, let's get to know you just a little bit. Let's have a little fun and get to know you a little bit before we jump all the way off into the deep end.
Okay.
So let's see. Summer, winter, spring, or fall? What's your best season?
I would say fall.
Yeah?
Yes.
Why?
I love fall because it's the shedding of things. And fall is also my most favorite time of year because it's, holiday season. It's getting ready for holiday season. Mm-hmm. I love family. I love gathering together and remembering traditions, and all of that type of stuff. And so that's my most favorite time of year. And my family sometimes doesn't like it. Because
do you go all out?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And then I just try to remember things. My father's deceased, and that was his favorite time of year. And so there were certain things that he did for the family. And we literally keep up with those traditions every year. So that's exciting for me, yeah.
Like, what are some of the traditions?
So, a lot of, my dad loved to eat. He was a pastor, and he loved to eat. Praise the Lord. So, of course, family gatherings was always around food.
Right.
One of the things that we do for Christmas is on Christmas morning, usually Christmas Eve, I started this part, everybody would come together and spend the night. So if it would be at my house or at my mom's, but now the majority of them are with me. So everybody's usually at our house. We do our pajamas and we do like a movie night and pull everything together, all the sweet treats that my son loves. And then we just hang out, literally just veg. And then on Christmas morning, my dad used to fix this huge breakfast. And none of us could open any gifts until after we ate breakfast. Well, anybody that knew my dad, he didn't get right up early. So, of course, we were always anxious, even being older. And so we still do that. And so now it's my husband and my brother that cook the breakfast for us.
Oh, that's lovely.
So we still do that. And it's really cool.
So, let's back the train up just a little bit.
Okay.
So since fall is your time of year, do you kind of find yourself, how do you get through summer? Is there kind of like I just want to get through this because this is coming up?
Yes, actually. And I love summer, but I don't love it like I love fall. You know what I mean? I love the weather for summer. I mean, California.
Right. Shoulder shrug. Like.
Yeah, right. I mean, it is who we are. This is what we are, who we are.
We do it.
But yeah, it's kind of like, okay, hurry up, move out the way. Let's get because it's that expectation.
Right.
And again, and the shedding of things. I'm looking forward to, okay, what is God going to say to me that's going to be different for me at the beginning of the year, the next year? So I'm looking at those things that probably weren't so good throughout this time, leading up to fall, and then the anticipation of, okay, the new year's right around the corner, so I know God has something better in store, something to go higher. So it's just, I love it. It's awesome.
That is so cool. So is September like your preparatory month? Because, that's traditionally back to school.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Because normally, this is the sad part. So you know how after Thanksgiving they have the lovely shopping day?
Yes.
And we always do it. Every year we're out. It's ridiculous. It's kind of not good. Okay. It's a sickness. But usually by that time, I'm, for the most part, already done with all of my Christmas shopping for everybody else.
Okay.
And I usually do that starting in September.
Stop it.
Yeah, some of it. So it's like I pick up stuff and I kind of, just when I'm out, or if we're all out and we're walking around, and my mom will say, oh, that's nice. Like, I'm always listening, always,
Aww.
Being attentive, so that I can
You're
pick
the best
those
kind
things
of
up.
gift giver.
I love to give gifts.
You're the best kind of gift giver.
It's like, pay attention. It's like,
Yeah.
what did they keep putting their hand on? I keep looking at like, and keep going back to,
Right.
So that's just one of the crazy things that I like to do.
I absolutely love that. I love that. And great explanation. All right, I have one more for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sunrise, daylight, twilight, or night?
So I really thought about this one.
Okay.
Because my first answer, literally when I looked at the question, was nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I thought about it, I said that is what it used to be, because night used to be my time. So when my husband goes to bed and my son go to bed, I'm up. Like, I would be up all the time, all hours of the night, just doing stuff. If it was reading, if it was just chilling out, finally, letting everything, because, you come home, it's straight in to do whatever with your son or your child. Once your husband gets home, it's like, now we got to have our time. And it's like, I need my time. Mm-hmm. So nighttime was my time. However, sunrise has become my favorite now.
Sunrise is nice.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I love it more so now because I'm in a different space with my relationship with Christ. So I get up, and at 4 o'clock, I'm up, and I'm talking to him, and I'm worshiping him. And so I was like, I love sunrise.
There's something nice about watching the world wake up, too.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah. There's something really nice about it.
Yes.
The moments when I'm able to sit still and just you kind of sit and look out your window and you just kind of see it go from darkness and the light gradually comes in and the birds start to wake up and you see the trickling of cars. You know what I mean? It's just like, and lights start going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also sets how your day is going to be. If
Right.
I'm getting up and I'm seeing all this glory manifested, it's just like, okay, my day is going to be great today.
Yeah.
And when I don't get up early enough to see all of that, I feel like, here, we're going to have another day. It's going to be one of those days again. Like, I feel kind of off,
Yeah.
So I love sunrise now.
Yeah, that is definitely a good one. Here's a silly question. If you were to change your name, what name would you adopt going forward, and why?
I was like, my alter ego? Or, I mean, Gigi or Faith? I honestly would say Faith. I really would say Faith. Okay. And I would say Faith because when I think about faith, I think about, it makes me think about confidence and trust and belief, and something that I struggled with for a long time in the sense of confidence. And so I was like, maybe if I were named Faith, it would have been a little bit easier to have that confidence earlier on than waiting until I was well over into my adult years to feel confident in who I am and in what I'm doing and what I was put here for.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one for you. If you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 items...
I'm so scared of this one.
What 3 items would you take with you?
Okay.
Or would you want to have with you? Because obviously you don't know you're going to be stranded, right?
Right. I mean, items. Let me see. My husband and my son would not be an item.
No.
Okay. So I would say... a nice blanket because I'm always cold.
Okay.
I would say, honestly, the Word of God.
Okay.
Because I'm going to need some hope.
Girl, listen, Linda, listen.
Okay. And something to drink.
Okay.
I mean, whether it be some good water or a good juice. I mean, like, I love juice and I love water. I mean, I don't love water. Let me not say that because I would not be telling the truth. I like water. And if I know that's going to save my life.
Water and I have an amicable relationship.
You know, I got to have it infused with something. But I guess I could, I'm on the island. I can give me some berries. Throw them off in there. I mean, you gotta be creative.
Okay. Let's see. Last one. What item would you most like to own that you don't have? Is there an item that you're just like, oh, I would love this?
Ooh. Actually, I would say a home because we don't own a home.
Okay.
I don't require a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are important to me. And so it would have to be something that is for us. You know what I mean? And then I would love a room that I could have all of my things that I like. I love Mickey and Minnie. I'm still a big kid at heart.
A woman cave?
Yes.
Heck yes.
Absolutely. Yes. We got to bring that up.
Yes. Woman cave, it's a thing.
Yes, that is the thing. The thing. Yes, we need a woman cave. But really, that's just about it.
Nice. All right, you guys, we've come to the end of our Getting to Know You section. We will be back with Mrs. Angela Ford in just a moment.
You are listening to the San Diego station of inspiration. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. KTAV Radio. For more information on how you can advertise your business, event, or services, please visit us online at ktav.tv or call 619-246-6131. We are also offering 30 and 60-minute time slots for your ministry or podcast. For more information on how you can become a part of KTAV Station of Inspiration lineup, please call 619-246-6131 or visit us online at ktav.tv/ministry.
All right, you guys, we are back here in studio with Mrs. Angela Ford, and we're going to be talking about pregnancy and infant loss. And so I want to talk to you about the before.
Okay.
So we're going to do some before, we're going to do some after, and then we're going to do some recovery.
Okay.
And we'll kind of do it like that.
Okay.
So you are your husband. How long have you guys been married?
This is our 14th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is beautiful.
It is. Amen.
No, it really is.
I'm very serious
Yeah.
because nowadays, with people in the church
Right.
being married, they just are so quick to say, forget it.
Right.
And it's not easy. It's not easy. Just because you're saved doesn't mean it's easy, but you have to work at it. And it's something that if you believe that this is who God gave you and who God placed you with, you're going to do what you need to do to make it work.
Right.
So, you forget about all that extra stuff. But it's work. That's with any relationship, whether it be friendship, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, it's work. And you have to put in the work.
That's really good. And that's really salient advice because I think a lot of times, especially in the church, we can think, oh, well, because I'm in the church. And,
oh, no. You're the target when you're in the church.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
Because you're always being tried. You're always being tested. And then you look at the people in the world who will fight for their marriages. Mm-hmm. They'll do what they need to do. And I'm like, what is wrong? This should be flip-flop.
Right.
Because we're like us, a little wind blew, I'm done. And you can't do that.
Right. Especially when you've made a covenant.
People forget that part. They literally forget that part.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, and I'm not married, I just, through observation, right? One of my superpowers, I learned through observation.
I love it.
I think a lot of times we focus on the good side
Absolutely.
of the vows. So we focus on the better, but we don't ever really stop and think about the worse. We focus on the health, but we don't think about the sickness.
Right.
We focus on the richer, but we don't focus on the poorer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we focus on the things that make us happy and fit the fairy tale.
I was about to say it's the fairy tale.
Yeah. But we don't really focus on the sickness and all forms of sickness that could entail.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when you seek, because I mean, we are a people who are driven by what we see on TV a lot.
That's
and
good.
So a lot of people will look at Atlanta Housewives, which is an awful yeah. But they'll look at those shows like that, or the reality shows, and the reality is that's not reality.
Right, it's scripted.
It's totally scripted.
Right.
And a lot of those people end up not being together after they've done that.
Right.
It's very taxing because you've put up this facade of who you should be.
Right.
And it's a lot of work to try to keep that up.
Listen.
It's like, that's not who I really am.
Right.
I'm jacked up.
Right.
I'm not that person. I'm not Polly Purebred. I'm not her. And people see that and they're like, oh, that's us. That we're going to be just like that. No, you don't want to be like that.
You shouldn't. Yeah, no. So here's what I want to commend you and JC on, because for 14 years, and you've shared some of your story with me, but our audience hasn't met your story. And so for 14 years, you have gone through 2 miscarriages and a stillbirth. And so talk to us about that.
Okay.
Because that's the marriage, that's like walking out the marriage vows.
Yes.
And so to paint a picture, we're talking about the psychological,
Yes.
hope, expectation,
Yes.
the room, the excitement, and then watching all of that go away.
Yes.
And still saying, we're going to be committed to one another.
Yes.
And we're going to be committed to God.
Yes.
So drive us through your story.
Okay. So, and it's very difficult to go through anything like this, especially any type of loss, and say we're still going to stick together.
Right.
Because, well, actually, let me start. So we went through 3 losses. So we had 2 miscarriages. The first miscarriage, we had probably the first year of marriage.
No.
Yeah. The first year of marriage, and I was like, I think I'm pregnant. I was like, something's not right here. I was ready. What? And then, went through all this wonderful presentation to let him know, how I put together this box. We had this red box that we would use, and it was called our special box. And the special box is something that you bring out not all the time, so just when you wanted to do something special. And so I got the special box, and I had got this cute little outfit, and I put it in the special box, and I put a note on it. And and we would put it together and put it out on the counter. So he came home, he opened up that box, and he was like, of course, he didn't read the paper at first. He picks up the thing, he's like, what is this? And I'm like, read the note. And I said something like, I'll see you in 8 months or something. Hi, Daddy, I'll see you in 8 months or something like that. It was something real kind of cheesy. But he was just like, he couldn't believe it. He was just head over heels, like going crazy. Like, are you serious? I was like, yes. And so that was exciting for me, having gone through, having been pregnant before and having an abortion.
Wow.
And this was way before my husband. And so, of course, I thought, God is going to, he's not going to let me have any kids because I killed a baby.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
And so we go through this. We are excited, going to appointments. I go to the first appointment. The doctor says, basically, you have a tilted uterus. The baby could just fall out. Now, I didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, well, so what does that mean? Could you kind of break it down to me? And he's like, oh, it'll be okay. And so I'm like, okay, not knowing, dummy me, just going along with the flow. And then about maybe 4 weeks later, I was like, something is not right. I'm like cramping. And I go to the doctor, and he said, well, they were doing these tests to see if your numbers would keep going up. And if they didn't, then that meant that you were miscarrying. So he did that, found out I was miscarrying. And I was bummed out. But because of who I am and who I was then, because my family depended on me, my family depends on me a lot, I got to be this strong person. So I can't let them know. Go in there, the doctor tells us, and I come out, and I'm like, okay, so, sweetie, yeah, we lost the baby, so we can go camping with our friends tomorrow for the weekend. We come out, we go get our camping stuff ready, and we go camping. And I never deal with it.
Wow.
And then not even a year later, I was pregnant again and got further along, actually, past the first trimester. So I was excited because the first one was right at 11 weeks, and it was right before the 12th week, which is at the end of the first trimester.
And the first trimester is kind of like I've heard it's like you hold your breath, right?
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Yes. And it's like, you don't tell everybody.
Right.
But a lot of people are different because, especially as Christians, it's like you just trust God. But for me, because I had lost before, I was like, I'm not going to say nothing. And so, second one happens. We get further along, so we're excited. We're like, okay, now we've got it. We've made it. And next thing I know, cramping again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Go to the doctor. He does the test again. He says, yeah, you're actually in the middle of miscarrying. And I was like, are you serious? Like, really? And I was really discouraged. I was bummed out. And I told my husband, and my husband was just like, you could tell. I didn't know what it would mean for a man because we're always focusing on the mother.
Right.
We don't focus on the male or the father. And it tore my husband up.
Wow.
Like, it tore him up. And I was just like, gosh, I can't give my husband a child? What is this? So then I was like, well, let's just look at adoption.
Right.
And, of course, he was like, whatever you want. But during that time, it was difficult. It was difficult for us. It was difficult for me to be intimate with my husband because I felt like I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to get pregnant again and have to lose a baby again. So it was difficult, and then it made him feel like something was wrong with him.
Oh, wow.
And so so when you say being tested,
right.
In marriage, when you go through loss or whatever the situation might be, the worst part of the better or worse,
right.
It's very real. It's
right.
very real. And then you feel even worse because you can't really express. It doesn't have anything to do. And you can say it all you want to say it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they're still thinking, but she doesn't want to be with me.
It's almost like a rejection.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's totally that. So it's
right.
like, oh my gosh. And so we go through that, and we really were prayerful. I started talking to someone, a therapist, because I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like I'm okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't want to go through this again. There's nothing, no big to do or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just go ahead. We're going to try this again. So we go ahead, we try again. We get pregnant. We pass the first trimester. And we're at the second trimester. And then I started spotting, had to go on bed rest, was in the hospital during my most favorite time of year.
Wow.
And I'm in there on Christmas Day. Doctor comes in. We were living there literally, and they told me I would have to be there for the duration of my pregnancy. And I was like, oh, okay, let me prepare my mind for this, because I'm thinking my husband's in school, you know, how are we gonna do this? You know, he was working and in school, and I'm working, but I only got so much time on the books because I was saving it up for when I had the baby. So I'm like, what are we gonna do? And I'm just in the hospital, and it happened again, but at this time, I was on bed rest, and I could only go from the bed to the pot. They had a pot right next to my bed, and it was a very humbling experience because I couldn't shower. Mm-hmm. And my mom and my husband would come in daily and just sponge me off from head to toe. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I felt like a baby, mm-hmm. literally. And I got up one night to use the pot, and forgive me for being graphic. If I don't want to be too graphic.
You're fine.
But I got up to use the pot, and when I thought I was going to urinate, I feel this like that, and I was like, and I look down, and I see my baby hanging. And I yell out to my husband because he's asleep in the room, and he jumps up and he's looking, and he's like, oh my God. And he runs over there and he puts me on the bed and picks the baby up and lays the baby on the bed. But I wouldn't look. All I knew is that my baby was here, and I said, you got to call the nurse because we need to get the baby. The nurse needs to come get the baby because I'm not thinking my baby's dead.
Right.
And the nurse comes in there, and they're looking like, you know, the looks that they give when they know it's a done deal.
Right.
And they rush me back to the delivery room, and they finish this process, and they take the baby, and they come back in there, and they're like, I'm sorry. And at that point, I just laid there, and I was like, no. What do you mean?
Wow.
Like, we got this far. We were almost at 6 months. And no? And I was like, where's my baby at? They were like, I'm really sorry. So then I was just quiet. I couldn't say anything. And again, trying to be strong. Because then everybody was called, and so people started coming. Mm-hmm. And literally trying to be strong. And I remember them coming back in there saying, do you want to see your baby? And at first I said yes. And they came in, and before she could get close enough, I lost it. And so I never held my baby, and I never looked at my baby. But my husband went down to where they were. He picked up the baby. He looked at the baby, took the blanket off, and I mean head to toe, everything. And now I often think, why didn't I hold my baby? Like, that was something that, I mean, I couldn't do it at the time. I just couldn't.
Right.
But I hate that I couldn't.
Right.
You know? And you're just never prepared. You're never prepared for that. And psychologically, you think, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. I'm good. And so you go home, you know, again, trying to be strong for everybody.
Right.
And you don't deal with anything. You just keep it moving. You keep going. Life keeps happening. And you try to make the best of it. So you're this broken person and this jacked up person that needs some help.
Right.
And you don't get it, but everybody still is coming to you for help.
Wow.
And I was just like, helping everybody.
Whew. We are going to take a break for station identification. When we come back, we're going to continue the conversation. We'll be back in just a moment.
You are listening to the San Diego station of inspiration. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. KTAV Radio. For more information on how you can advertise your business, event, or services, please visit us online at KTAV.TV or call 619-246-6131. We are also offering 30 and 60-minute time slots for your ministry or podcast. For more information on how you can become a part of KTAV's Station of Inspiration lineup, please call 619-246-6131 or visit us online at KTAV.TV/ministry.
Hey everyone, we are back here in studio with Mrs. Angela Ford, and we're going to continue the conversation. So when we last left off, you were talking to us about the two miscarriages and then the stillbirth. Mm-hmm. And so my question for you is, because you just kind of snapped into, I got to be strong and I have a family to take care of and people need me and I got to handle business. Mm-hmm. At what point did you start dealing? Like, when did it hit you? Because it sounds like you went from one and you kind of didn't really deal with it, and then you went to the next one and didn't deal with it. It was kind of like, oh, that really stinks. And then the stillbirth happened. And so at what point does it hit you like, I got to deal with all of this?
It's interesting because for me, it wasn't until probably, I want to say at least a year and a half later.
Right.
It was kind of like, okay, look, because also in that time period, I had been told I wouldn't be able to have kids. So you're dealing with the fact you've lost these three. You've gotten this procedure done. They said you won't be able to have kids, and you're really trying to believe God because you are a woman. I mean, I am a woman of faith. That is one thing that I pride myself on. You know, it was hard. It was very hard during that time, and I remember thinking, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of the facade. I'm tired of wearing the mask. I'm tired of presenting one way in front of everybody and not being that way, mm-hmm. you know, at home or when I'm by myself. Mm-hmm. I can't, I mean, it's a lot to keep up.
Right.
This facade, you know, trying to be somebody that you're not,
right.
you know. It was very, very hard. And I remember being at church one Sunday, and there was someone who came to me. She was on the worship team, Sister Barter, and Sister Barter gave me a word that particular Sunday. And at first I was like, I kind of walked off like, really? You know, literally. Right. So I was like, you don't know me. You know how we can do? It's like, right. You're not going to point out the fact that you see, because that's really what's going on, but you don't know me.
Right.
And so I left there, and I was like, okay, God, look, I can't keep doing this. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't keep doing this. It's really, it's been very difficult, and it's difficult on my marriage. I turned into this person who was just like very silent, wouldn't say anything. But again, in front of everybody else, I was this happy, you know, jokester, mm-hmm. you know, that wanted to keep everybody laughing. And then also the person that, again, that everybody was always still coming to. And I was rescuing, and I was like, what do you do when the person that's rescuing everyone else needs to be rescued?
Right.
You know, who do I go to?
Right.
When everybody is coming to me, who do I go to? Who can I talk to? Yes, I know that I can talk to God. I know that I can do that. But there were some people that I thought, my goodness, you know, we always talk about this spirit of discernment. You can't discern,
girl,
that there's something going on with your friend.
Right.
You know, that I'm not all the way there. I'm not, I need some work.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I need to be healed from the inside out, not just the surface stuff.
Right.
You know, and I remember walking into the store looking for a card for something, and I broke. All of a sudden.
Right.
Just broke. I mean, it was one of them ugly cries, them ugly breaks too.
Right.
And I was like, I know these people looking at me like, ma'am, we're going to help you. You okay? I mean, it was awful.
Yeah.
And I left out of there, and I remember going to sit in my car, and I was like, God, I need you. I need you to take the scissors and cut and open up and pull this junk out that I have not dealt with. I need you to pull it to the surface, pluck it up at the root, and I want to be free. I want to be free. And so he literally just started chipping away. Things started to fall off. He started to take the scales off. And I just remember being able to talk to a mentor and being able to talk to my pastor at the time. And it was the best thing ever. It was the best thing ever, because I was finally like, okay, you guys, I've been walking around like this, and that's not who I am. I got a lot of things going on. I'm hurting, and hurt people.
Right.
And so that's what I was doing. You know, I was short with my husband. I couldn't be affectionate. I couldn't be intimate because I was angry.
Right.
And I didn't realize that I was angry. And then I thought, God, you're punishing me because I had an abortion.
Wow.
So clearly, this is why all of this is happening.
Right.
And then I remember being at church one Sunday, and Elder Garcia came to me. He had no clue about anything. And he said to me, God said to let you know that you are not being punished. I said, didn't nobody hear that but Jesus, because that's who I told that to. I was like, you better go, boy. But I mean, that literally freed me that Sunday.
Right.
That Sunday it freed me. And I was like, I can't go back there. And so I was like, whatever I need to do, whatever it is. And I came out of my shell. And then later on, went back into the shell.
Why did you go back in the shell?
Because it was too much of me. I felt like it was too much of me. I was
like you were raw.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, maybe, all right, well, let me just go back. That's where it was comfortable.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, here we go again. And then I was like, I'm done. My husband was like, we don't have to have any children, because he hated to see me go through all that I had gone through. And so he's like, don't worry about it. Like, I'm fine as long as we're together. And if God allows us to adopt, we will totally adopt, you know. But if not, we just have to be okay with what we have, which is each other, you know. And we have godchildren. And, you know, he was like, maybe that's what God had in the, you know, in the cards for us. We don't know. We're just trusting him. And then out of nowhere, I got a new doctor, because my doctor that I had was the one that told me that I had a tilted uterus, and basically that was the issue the whole time. And so I got a new doctor, and went to see her for the first time, and she was like, okay, the first day I was there, she's like, we're going to do this test, and on the first day of your cycle, I want you to come back, and we're going to do this test. And I sat there and I just started crying. And she said, what's wrong? And I said, nobody's ever done any of that. I said, my doctor never tested me. Every time I asked him what was wrong, why did I keep losing these children, he was just saying it was an unhealthy pregnancy. I know it's an unhealthy pregnancy, but why?
Right.
And so she was like, oh, no, we're going to have these tests done. I said, okay. And we did that. And when I was supposed to have one test on the first day of my cycle, I called her. I said, I don't know really if this is my cycle. I said, but I'm kind of spotting. I said, it's kind of weird. And I did not think that I was pregnant at all. And so she starts laughing, and I said, what's wrong? She said, I want you to do a favor for me. Come in the office and take a pregnancy test. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm not going to pay you to come all the way over there from my job, from Kearney Mesa, go all the way to La Mesa and pay you $20 for you to tell me no. I said, I'm going to go to the store, and I'm going to come right back here to my office and go in the bathroom. I said, I'll call you and let you know. And so I go, and I take the test. And, of course, I didn't think. I was like, I'm clearly not. And I go, before I could look at the test good, it popped up pregnant. And I looked at it, and I couldn't get excited. I just sat there. I couldn't get excited at all. Wow. Because I was like, is this going to be just like the last three?
Right.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be, but I knew that God had promised me a child. Mm-hmm. But I also thought that when I had my abortion, that was a null and void, you know? Right. So I was like, okay, I messed up. So, and it just happened that we were pregnant. My husband wasn't excited, couldn't get excited, told me, stop.
Which is understandable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, you can't do worship. You can't sing. I was in the voices then. You can't sing with the voices. You just going to sit down. And I was like, okay. Because something had clicked in my spirit. And I was like, no, I believe in God. Mm-hmm. So I don't see nothing wrong with me singing. I don't see I mean, you know, that's what I love. That's my passion. That's who I am. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what do you mean? And so that caused a rift between us, because he was like, no, because his faith was not where mine was.
Right.
And he was like, no, you need to sit down. I remember telling Edward, she cannot sing. And you have to know him, because he's not confrontational at all. But he was like, she cannot sing. Don't even ask her. And we came through, and he didn't get excited until about the 7th month.
Wow.
And I was like, ooh, this is crazy. So we finally made it through, and it was the best pregnancy that I had ever had. The best. And Jesus brought our son into this world, and it was an amazing event. And now he's putting gray hairs in my head. 8.5 years old. My gift, and I love him. So, I mean, God is definitely a rewarder of those who seek him, and he will totally, when he tells you something, you can take it to the bank. You know, you don't have to waver. You don't have to wonder. He is faithful to what he says. Unlike us, you know, he's very faithful to what he says, and that's what I had to trust in at that time. So I was like, okay, God, you know, you something else. Do your thing. Right. So that was our journey to having him.
That is amazing. We are going to take a break for station identification. We'll be back in just a moment with Mrs. Angela Ford.
You are listening to the San Diego station of inspiration. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. KTAV Radio. For more information on how you can advertise your business, event, or services, please visit us online at ktav.tv or call 619-246-6131. We are also offering 30 and 60-minute time slots for your ministry or podcast. For more information on how you can become a part of KTAV Station of Inspiration lineup, please call 619-246-6131 or visit us online at ktav.tv/ministry.
We are back here in studio, headed towards the top of the hour with Mrs. Angela Ford. Thank you so much for taking us on this journey with you.
Absolutely.
Definitely, if another Bible were to be written, your name would be in it.
Wow.
I really believe that. And so often we want to be used by God until we're
Yes.
used by God, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I love the fact that he is so gracious in that he will let us know, no, this is for my glory. I'm using you.
Yes.
I'm not punishing you.
Yes. Yes.
And so often on the outside looking in, people in general can sometimes misinterpret what's going on in your life and like, oh yeah, God's getting so and so, not realizing no, God is using this person.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, and I think this is where God gets the glory, is that your faith in him remained.
Yes.
Your marriage remained intact.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
your faith in God didn't go away because of the difficulty.
Right.
Your faith in God stayed.
Yes.
And so what I want you to talk to us about now as we are headed towards the proverbial destination, which is the end of the show.
Oh my goodness.
Talk to us about the rebuild and the recovery. Learning to love again, learning to trust God again. Because so often we talk about when we deal with faith, we tend to have this like, oh, I've never lost faith in God, and I've never lost trust, and I've never questioned, and I've never gotten angry, and it's like, okay.
What world are you living in? That's not real.
Yeah, so, right. And
not
so
real.
it's, talk to us about the recovery process.
The recovery was long. The recovery, I can honestly say, is still happening.
Right.
And in building our marriage, and that's still happening. Even with our son being 8.5 years old, it's still happening because sometimes, there are residuals of things that happen,
Right.
before,
Right.
and you don't realize it until you like really take a look at it. I can honestly say we are in a different place, in a better place than we've been in some areas. And then other areas where we definitely, everybody can use a tune-up, and not afraid to say that because we love each other. And, I mean, that's my dog. That's my friend. That's my husband. That's my boo. But I know, and if he were here, he'd say the same thing in the sense that we're still allowing God to make us over. And in that process, it's the process that's the part where you have to really say, okay, am I going to stick here? Because, it's in the process where that, you're like, God, are you going to really sustain me in this process? Because once you get to the point of recovery, or this strength, that's all great and gravy, but it's that process getting to that point. And in that process, all kinds of things happen, Sometimes I'm like, I don't even like you, and it's perfectly okay because it wasn't going to be peaches and cream every day,
Right.
And when you realize that there are two imperfect people coming together to become one, and you're always becoming one. It doesn't just happen on the day of the wedding. It doesn't just happen like that. You're always becoming one. You're always looking, getting things or being poured into. You're always being imparted into. And we go through that process. And I think for me, a lot of my recovery has been finally stepping out, doing what I know I'm supposed to do in God, knowing my purpose, knowing my, seeing my destiny and getting excited about it and going after my destiny. And us doing that together as a family, knowing the call that God has on us as a family and us individually. It's all working together. But it's a process. It's a process, And we are stronger. We are better because of what we went through. And it's true, you never know what is going to be in your cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just kind of
really
have
don't.
to, you don't, you know, you have to trust, okay, God, are you serious? We gonna do this like this right here? I mean,
right.
And it's just been amazing. It's been an amazing ride. And my husband, gosh, what can I say about JC? JC is the epitome of a man who really loves God and loves his family. He loves hard, you know, and I can honestly say, you know, not being boastful or arrogant or anything, he's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? But I know that because when he makes a vow, he means it. You know, that's important to him.
Right.
And it's important to me as well. And, you know, we do our thing. Like, he lets me do my thing. And that is one thing that I love about him, because he allows me to do, because when he met me, he knew who I was, you know?
And so it's the sense of what's coming to my mind is he may not be perfect.
Absolutely.
But when you wait on God, God will send you the person that is perfect
for you. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. I totally believe that and know that.
Yeah.
And it's the same with me. I'm so not perfect. And I have my mess-ups. I have my mishaps. I have my struggles. And I'm not ashamed to say that. You know, there was a time when I wouldn't say that. You know, it was this thing. I don't want them to know, you know, that something is wrong with me. I don't want them to know that I got issues. I don't want them to know. And now it's like, what do I have to lose?
Right.
You know, what we go through is not for us. It's for someone else.
Right.
You know, and once you know that, and once we realize that, and going through all of these losses, that's how we were able to come together and say, hey, we got to do, you know, it's in our pain that so a lot of times your ministries are birthed. You know? And it was through that we're now able to form our ministry, Love in Action, and put on the events that we put on last year and are going to be putting on this year for pregnancy and infant loss, because that's something that we're passionate about.
Right.
You know, I can't talk about something I'm not passionate about.
Or and the other part of it is it goes beyond passion, because it has to be something you've lived through, because you can't talk about this theoretically.
No.
When you're dealing with a mother who's sitting in the audience, or a woman who's sitting in the audience who has lost a child, this is not time for theory.
Right.
This is not time for trite sayings. This is not time for rah-rah, sis, boom, bah. You need somebody who will sit with you in that dark cave and be like, I've been here.
Yes.
I'm going to sit with you. And together, with the help of God, we're going to get out of this cave.
Yes.
But if you've never been there,
you can't speak to it.
You can't, because your best efforts will be insulting at best.
Absolutely.
And damaging at worst.
That is correct, because I've heard so many people, so many women, that before I knew really that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, God would always allow me to minister to people or to women who had suffered loss. And I was like, oh, I got it. It was like, ding. And I was like, but I can speak to it because I know it, because I lived it. You know, I couldn't have, just like you said, if you didn't go through it, and you didn't have like a front row seat in the situation, there's no way that you could that you could speak about it. Seriously, it's like, what are you doing? You can't tell me. How do you know?
Right.
And it's nothing like going through it and being able to help somebody else.
Right.
Even through your hurt, because, you know, it's one thing to tell your story and just tell it like flying by the seat of your pants. But if you've lived it and you've gone through it, I can't tell it without you understanding what it did to me and what it meant to me.
Right.
How it broke me to the very core of my being. You know, it made me feel less than a woman. It made me feel like, it really kind of embarrassed me at one point, because it was like, that was all I needed to do was take care of my baby, and I couldn't even do that, you know, to bring this baby into the world. I couldn't even do that. Like, I felt like less than a woman, and it's almost shaming.
Right.
And I was feeling that and didn't realize until I started talking to others that they felt the same thing.
Right.
But I thought something is wrong with me.
Right.
You know? I was like, oh. So oh, you felt like that too? Okay. So I'm not crazy. But just being able to speak to it and help somebody. And I was like, that was why I went through what I went through. And guess what? I'm okay now. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm okay with that. Because for a long time, I was like, I'm not okay with this. Because I'm thinking, I have an only child. And, of course, we would have loved for him to have a sibling. And I'm just like, really, Lord? Like, you know, I was angry. Even after we had him, and angry. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I get it. I totally get it. And I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I thank God. I thank him. I thank him for everything that we went through. It's been a testament of God's amazing love for us, you know.
And one of the things that I really love about God is the fact that he allows us to go through our grieving process, because sometimes we want to short circuit that.
Yes.
Because you do go through shock, and then you go through denial.
Yeah.
And then you go through depression, and then you go through anger.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll get to acceptance. But before you get to that acceptance, it's called this tangled ball of grief. And you'll think you're okay. You're like, okay, I'm good. I got this. I'm straight. Yeah, I am. We good. I'm fine. I promise you. And then something will happen. The wind will blow the wrong way. A song will play. Something will happen. And all of a sudden, you are overcome, and you're riding this wave of emotions all over again.
Yes.
Because you're back to grieving the loss of what happened that you thought you were over, that you're all of a sudden you're not over. And unless someone has been through that to some capacity, they will never understand.
That is so true. That is so true. And they can't, it's impossible. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm not going to try and tell you what it feels like to lose, you know, a spouse to, say, cancer or anything of that nature, because I don't know.
Right.
You know, I've had friends, but I still couldn't speak to it, you know? So it's like, I mean, God bless you. I mean, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, okay, I can pray, but I just don't know. I don't know what they're feeling. I don't know.
And sometimes I think the best thing that we can do for people who are hurting, what I've learned in my experience, just show up and be there.
I was about to say, just be present.
Just show up and be there and let them tell you what they need.
Absolutely.
So you need me to just sit here with you? I'm just going to sit here with you. That's all I'm going to do. We're going to sit here. We're going to stare at each other? Okay, we're going to stare.
Right.
And be willing to let their grief mess up your day if that's what needs to happen for their healing.
Yes, because I remember finally saying to somebody, I don't want to hear that God knows what's best. I know what God knows. Don't tell me again that Jesus knows what's best. He loves you guys, and I know all of that.
He wanted a flower for his garden.
I don't want to hear it. Right. Because I want you to know that I am hurting, and I can't even speak to that hurt right now.
Right.
You know, I have to be honest. This is what I feel. I'm pissed off.
Right.
You know what I mean? To a certain extent, you get to that point. And then it's like, and shut up.
And we in the church, I will say this, we as Christians need to learn how to be okay with that. Because if God can handle my anger, why can't you?
Right. Right. I don't need you to say nothing. Just be present.
And if you can't be present, then I'm going to need you to excuse yourself.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
And I've had friends say, you know what, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I didn't know what to say. Mm-hmm. And I said, it's okay. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that you didn't say anything stupid.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they'll say, oh, well, what was wrong? Well, what did you do?
Ooh.
What did you do? This is a message to everyone out there.
Speak on it. Preach.
Please, just keep your mouths shut. Just be present. Don't say anything, because any little thing will cause you to fly off, you know? You don't know where a person is. You don't know what headspace they're in. You don't know any of that. So it's just like, just be there. That's it.
And respect the request.
Absolutely.
If someone says, I don't want to talk, honor the request.
Don't keep texting me and emailing me and calling me and leaving me messages. I don't want to hear it. And then your feelings hurt.
Right.
Because I didn't respond to you. But I'm going through.
I was trying to help you. And you didn't say nothing.
No, you was helping yourself because you wanted everybody to know that you were trying to help me. And that's not help.
Right.
That's not help.
Right.
So.
You are an incredible woman.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you.
I have known you,
Yes.
on the periphery. We have our circles overlap from time to time.
Yes.
And your story is one of inspiration and encouragement, and it's just, I think the best way that I can say it is, if another Bible were to be written, I'm confident that you would be in it.
Wow. Wow.
And so the fact that you have, because it's one thing when we read this, you can read the Bible and kind of divorce yourself from it and be like, oh, well, that was back then. But it's like, no, we have Esthers today. They're just not called Esther. We have Daniels today, and we have Davids today, and we have Josephs today, and we have Ruths today. We have these people among us today. They just don't have that name.
Right.
But they're walking through the valley of the shadow of death. They're walking through their wilderness. They're walking through their difficult times.
Wow.
And they're maintaining faith in God. And it may not look the way you want it to look, but they're maintaining faith in God. And because of it, their name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Because of it, heaven says, I'm pleased. Because of it, God says, well done. Even when it doesn't look the way you think it should look. Because it's not about you. It's not your story. It's His.
Yes, I love it.
And so, thank you so much. I'm so honored to, I really am. I'm so honored to be in your presence. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so grateful to God for the people that He directs me to.
Amen.
And I'm so glad you came, and I pray that people are truly not only the ones who listen today, but the ones who will listen in the days to come. Amen. That will be blessed and encouraged. How can someone get in touch with you for Love in Action?
Email address is love, it's LUVN action 17@gmail.com.
Awesome.
I'm trying to think, is that it? Yeah, that's it.
And then the next PALE event is going to be when?
So our next PALE event will be in October as well, because that's PALE month. But we're also doing something for mental illness and those experiencing homelessness. Okay. And that will be we're looking July, the end of July.
Okay.
But
excellent.
You'll see more stuff about that.
And please send it to us so we can get the word out for you as much as we can and help you with getting, just helping to bring exposure to it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Honestly, my pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday from all of us to all of you. Mwah! God loves you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You are listening to the San Diego station of inspiration. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. KTAV Radio. For more information on how you can advertise your business, event, or services, please visit us online at ktav.tv or call 619-246-6131. We are also offering 30 and 60-minute time slots for your ministry or podcast. For more information on how you can become a part of KTAV Station of Inspiration lineup, please call 619-246-6131 or visit us online at ktav.tv/ministry.